Hi there, I'm Dr. Melanie McNally with Destination U, and today I am going to talk directly to parents and caregivers about helping your young adult, teen, or tween process big life events. And when I talk about big life events, I'm talking about current events, things that are happening in the news, like political turmoil. It can be natural disasters in other countries. It can be civil unrest. And then I'm also talking about personal life events. So that might be the death of a family member or a pet. That might be parents getting divorced or a best friend moving away. Before I jump into some things that you can do to help them with processing these big life events, is I want you to imagine a small child eating an apple. So you know how a little kid, she takes a bite of the apple, she goes off, she plays with a toy. She comes back, she takes another bite, she goes to the bathroom. She takes another bite, she goes off and she torments her brother. She might eat this apple all day long. It's brown, it's disgusting, yet she's still working on it. That apple eating process is similar to how young people process big life events. They take a bite, they walk away, they go do their own thing, they come back, they take another bite. This process of going back and forth between processing, which is taking the bite, and then relaxing, this can go on for days, weeks, months. It depends on what the life event is. It depends on their perception of the life event. And then it depends on what else is going on in their life. If they have other stressors, if they have a support system. So how long it takes is really going to vary by individual. So as a parent or caregiver, what can you do to best support them? First and foremost, be a good listener. So when they're taking that bite of the apple, that's them processing the event with you. They might be asking questions, or they might just be talking about it, like talking about what they think and their own opinions. Your job is to listen with an open mind. And if their thoughts and opinions are really different than your own, I know that can be really challenging. However, it's so important that you listen without jumping in with judgment, with shaming them, with telling them how wrong they are. If you do that, you're slamming that door shut. They are not going to process that information with you, and they're going to go seek out someone else to process this life event with. And you don't know who that might be. It could be strangers online. It could be friends who really aren't equipped to help them process this life event. So you want them to process it with you. And it's essential that you do it with an open mind and you listen. Ask open-ended questions. Be curious. Like, how did you form that opinion? Where did that come from? Or where do you think that came from? So just listen, be open-minded. Another thing too, when you're listening, be present. Don't be on your phone. Don't be watching TV, kind of like, half listening, half watching. Be present, be with them. Make sure that they know that you're listening, making eye contact. Okay, the second thing is you want to help them investigate through credible sources. So if it's a big life event that's a current event that they're processing, make sure that they're getting their information from credible news sources. So many young people get their information from YouTubers and influencers. And while a lot of those people are credible, they're researching, they're investigating, they're sharing good information, some of them aren't. So you want to make sure that they are getting some of their information from news sources that are low in bias, high in fact. So help them seek those sources out. And when you do that, you're doing it from a curious, investigative sort of perspective. You're not doing it because you're telling them, how wrong they are, or you need to check your sources, that's so dumb. But instead, it's kind of like, I'm interested in this too. Like, I don't really understand why this group is so upset. Let's see what we can figure out together. Let's look at what, NPR is saying. Let's look at Reuters. Let's look at these other news sources, and let's kind of just do some data collection together. So you're curious together, you're investigating together. And then the final thing is to make sure that you are checking in with them. So if they process with you, they go off, they relax, they hang out with friends, they might come back and like talk about it a little bit more. They go off, they do their own thing, they're working on school. And then you might notice that things kind of die down where they're not talking about it so much. Check in with them and say, hey, how are you feeling now about your friend moving away? Or any other thoughts about what's going on, in the political world? So check in and see. And this is your opportunity to see if they have closure. Maybe they share, yeah, I've decided this is what I'm going to do, or this is how I think about it. And you might hear in their voice that they have closure, they know what they think, they know what they feel, they have a solution. Then they're kind of done with the processing. If they still sound confused, if they're asking questions, if they're kind of sharing differing viewpoints, then that's a sign that they're still processing. So your job is to continue with steps 1 and 2. Your job is to continue with the open-minded listening, and then also to continue with the credible source, fact-checking, curiosity, investigative area. And then just one other thing to keep in mind, when they go off and they're relaxing and their brain is still processing information, it's really important to let them do that. Don't make them just sit and keep having this conversation with you. You might feel like you need to keep talking about it, but if they're getting up and walking away, they don't. Let them go talk to their friends, play video games, do homework, go for a run or whatever they want to do. Let them go do their thing. Don't force it on them. Let them set the pace of this relaxing, processing, relaxing, processing. They set the pace, not you. And if you find that you're having a really difficult time helping them process whatever the life event is, because you're in it too, maybe it's the death of a loved one, and you're dealing with your own grief and you're dealing with your own processing, definitely get support for yourself, whether that's, talking to a spouse, a relative, a best friend, a therapist. Make sure that you're getting support so that you can be there for them. All right, I hope this helps, and I will see you next time. Take care.